Well, folks, in today's video, we're going to be testing out a whole bunch of different HO scale locomotives I picked up off of eBay. I purchased all of the locomotives that you see right here about a year ago in a lot, and they're all in as-is condition. So I have no idea if any of these things are going to start or not. Hopefully, if we're lucky, we'll have a few runners. But it's not a big deal if they don't run, because frankly, I just love working on these old locomotives. So let's test them all out and see if we've got any runners. Anyway, we're going to start with the Santa Fe. I think this is a U-boat of some sort. It's a Bachmann locomotive with a pancake drive, so a 3-pole motor. Not a very fancy engine, so I think it's actually got a pretty decent chance of running. Anyway, let's give it some power here. Oh. It's got the classic problem, clicking gears. So basically the gears in this thing have split because they're nylon, which is fit around a piece of metal. So the engine will run fine, but it will make that annoying ticking noise, and eventually the gear may break. It's not a huge problem, but it's not great. Very, very common on these 80s era Bachmann engines. Anyway, on to the next. Why don't we test out the Mantua Tycho. These are pretty robust engines. I think this one's got a good shot at starting. I think this might be an American-made engine too, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, giving it some power here. Yeah, these old Mantua Tychos are tanks. Certainly not the best looking engines out there, but they've got a 5-pole motor in them. Way better than the power torque switch came along later. Here we got a lifelike. These lifelikes, a lot of people say they're poor quality. That's true, but they've got a very simple drive, so that usually works in their favor. And I'm guessing this thing is going to start. Sometimes they have a problem where when the wheels have been sitting too long, they oxidize, and so the engine won't pick up power. But if you move them around, sometimes it scrapes off that oxidization and they'll come back to life. In this case, it would not appear so, however. I don't think this one's going to start after all. Might have a broken wire, who knows, but yeah, that one's going to be a project. Anyway, why don't we take out another Mantua Tycho. It might just be a regular Tycho, I'm not sure. Pretty sure it does have a 5-pole in it though. So, let's test it out. It's not a power torque, which certainly would work to this locomotive's advantage. So far, well, it kind of seems like it's trying to go. And we have a bit of current draw. Here, if I wiggle this around, see how the current draw is spiking there? It's like it's trying to run. Also, okay, let's give it a bit more power. Let's try the other direction. Oh, you guys saw that. There she goes. Will it make it all the way around the layout? Oh, it's running rough. Well, derailed, but it's amazing how well that one came back to life. I'm still going to service it, but that's a really terrific start. Super happy with that. Again, those Mantuas, super tough. Speaking of Mantuas, here's one of those famous Spirit of 76 ones. Now, you can see we're missing our rear truck, but it still might be able to pick up power just through the metal, so I guess we'll try to run the motor. I don't know. This one's probably one of the rougher of the bunch. Let's see here, if we can just seat that metal on the... Hold on a moment. Did you see that? The light came on for just a second there. I mean, this is not a fantastic electrical setup here, but you can see the light is flickering just a little bit. Let's try giving it more power. Yeah, Nothing from the motor though. So I guess we got a good light, but the motor could be a whole other case. Anyway, what have we got next? Amtrak by Lifelike. Again, very simple drive. It's probably got a decent shot at starting. Oh. Yes, this might be the one. It's really just about getting them moving. I guarantee if this thing can just get started, it's going to go all the way around the layout. Well, it's a decent start. It's not really going as fast as it should be, but if it's got really dirty wheels, that could be a problem. That was close. Yeah, this thing's fine. Right back to life. And here's another Lifelike. This one's definitely seen better days, but doesn't mean it won't run necessarily. This one's in better shape than the Amtrak was, at least mechanically. And it seems like the same problem, just dirty wheels. Anyways, why don't we test out this? This is a Bachmann engine. Feels very light. I think somebody definitely removed the weights from it. However, it does seem to be geared, at least on this side, so maybe it will start. I don't know. Wow. Something seems off with the drive. It takes a lot of power to start, but it is running, so yeah, not bad. I really do like the chrome on these things. It's so unrealistic, but I don't know, you just kind of gotta love it. Anyway, on to the next Mantua. It's a Burlington Locomotive. Really unsure if this one's gonna start, but let's give her a try. Wow. Seemed like going forwards more than it did backwards, but it does run. Just needs some work. I'm frankly amazed how many of these are firing up. Given the condition, at least cosmetically, I thought they were going to be a lot worse. But I guess it's not always a good indicator. Anyway, here's another Lifelike. This one looks to be in better shape than the other Santa Fe, but as I mentioned, it doesn't mean it's mechanically in better shape. In fact, it doesn't seem to want to sit on the track properly, so I don't really know what's going on there. Nothing. I guess that one's going to be a project. I'm pretty sure this engine right here is just a dummy. Yeah, I think we concluded that when we unboxed all of these. Here's another Mantua. Let's see if this one will start. For some reason, I've got a good feeling about this one. The light's coming on, and the motor for just a split second there was running, but okay, yeah, there we go. No problems. Could probably use a bit of cleaning on the wheels, but I'd call that a runner. Another engine with practically the same drive, although this one looks pretty rough. I don't know. What do all of you think? Have we got a runner on our hands? It's probably going to be pretty rough if it does start. Oh, heard something from the motor. It's trying to go. Well, it's certainly not hopeless, but it's also struggling a little more than some of the others were. Okay, I think it's starting to come back. You know, it's very possible some of these engines might have not run for 10, 15, 20 years. And after that amount of time, you know, lubricants dry out, things oxidize, so there's a lot that can change from a locomotive not being used often enough. And that very well could be the case for many of these engines. Anyway, here is the final powered locomotive. It's an AHM. It's pretty rusty. I really don't know if this one's going to start or not, but again, simplicity, just like the Lifelikes, works in these AHM drives' favor. So I'm not going to write it off just yet. Let's see. Nothing. Well, that's too bad, but these are very simple drives. I'm sure we'll be able to fix whatever's preventing this thing from running. Well, folks, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. I certainly enjoyed getting to test all of these locomotives out today, and I've got to say I'm quite impressed. I was not expecting so many of them to start right out of the box like that, so yeah, very pleased with that. But as for the other ones, they should make for fun projects, and hopefully the not-so-distant future. But until then, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching.